not sure what number this is, but this is Sunday, June 22nd, 2019. Starting off over here with a couple of changes I've made. I removed the blue Klondike watermelon from back here where the dirt is disturbed. This long one is the orange glow. Over here is the moon and stars. Then we have the cow sweet watermelon right here, and Congo. Back here the Hale's Best cantaloupe did not germinate. So I put some Shadow Benny seeds in here, or Ricao for the Puerto Ricans. I believe it's also known as Vietnamese coriander, but I put some seeds around in there yesterday, hoping those will germinate soon. Haven't had the best luck with germination. Over here, worked on this yesterday. It's a storage container that was always leaking, so I put some garden fabric in there and lined it because I don't believe the plastic is food safe, but I didn't want to just throw the whole thing away. So over here is what I believe to be a tender sweet orange. Then right here is where I put the blue Klondike. And here is a view of the garden. Made some changes yesterday. It was rather busy. So I'm gonna try and make this quick. This is about the third time I've tried to film this and my phone kept reheating in the sun, so waited till the evening. Here is my Anaheim pepper. It has bushed out so nicely. I did not prune it. I haven't done anything to it. I know there's at least one pepper toward the bottom, but I don't know if I can get that on camera, and I haven't weeded over here. I gotta get over here with the weed whacker this week. I did spend some time weeding out this area yesterday. These are the Pequeño peppers. The tall one is the yellow. There's two more in the front, that's red. Here is a view of the zucchini, Cocozella di Napoli and green bush zucchini. Over here, again, weeded out the area. So these are the Blacktail Mountain watermelons, as well as some Cosmos. So now we can take a walk inside the garden and see what else is new. Oops. So the first thing is the black vernissage tomato. I finally took that out of the little 4-inch pot and stuck it in what I believe to be a 7-gallon bucket. And we've got the Minnesota midget melons, cantaloupe, the Kajari melon, sugar baby bush watermelon, and the 2 sweet passion melons. I did add a cage to that because it's starting to vine. I need to put one over here for this one as well. And again, here are the zucchini. The butternut squash is down there. We've also got the kales and broccoli, I believe, and what's these called? Collard greens. Collard greens, and got the Savoy cabbages doing beautifully. I think this is Dutch cabbage. I can't remember the name. Dutch something cabbage. But they're all looking really good. This is my first time growing cabbage that looks like it's coming to a head and looks really healthy. I have some holes in my leaves. I thought my resident spider was actually helping keep the cabbage worms away, but he was not. He's just hanging out. I don't know if you can see him right there. Yeah, he's not doing anything. I don't know what kind of spider that is, but he's a lazy spider. Anyway, here is an orange oxheart tomato. These are the most productive tomatoes in the garden so far. Here is a nice sized, oh, 2, 3, okay, 3 tomatoes right here. Looking beautiful. And some aphids on the borage. Some more tomatoes right here. So, like I said, these are the most productive. There's another one coming up that I'll show you. It's looking pretty good. All this white stuff you see sprinkled, that is bone meal. Since they're flowering plants, I've been trying to stay away from the nitrogen and put some phosphorus in there for the flowers. So these are my pepper plants. A lot of them are still kind of stumpy. That big stalk, that was a barrage I pulled out. We had a bad storm the other night and it fell on top of this pepper right here, my golden California Wonder, and squashed it. And it was big, so it was shading out the peppers around it as well, so I decided it was best for that to just come out. Here is a green giant tomato. Haven't gotten any tomatoes off of this yet, but as you can see, there's a few blooms. And then some opening. This one? No, that's what I was about to say. Is that a tomato? But no, there's more blooms over here. So hopefully within the next week, we'll have some tomatoes developing on here. Here is the black brandywine, one of them, one of three. No tomatoes yet on this either, but we've got some blooms now. Here is the other orange oxheart. I don't think it's as tall. No, it's not as tall as the other one, but it has seriously been loaded with tomatoes. There are about 15 tomatoes on this plant. Looking forward to tasting them and making some delicious sauce with them. Here is the Dr. Weik's tomato. Finally got some tomatoes on here. Got two. I gotta get kind of close to see them because they're still a little small. So there's that one, and then there's another one back here. Right there. It's not focusing, but it's there, trust me. I've got lots of blooms on here, so should be seeing some soon. And then over here are the red currant tomatoes. Again, the stuff you see on the leaves. Like right here, that's bone meal. I just sprinkled it in there and some hit the leaves. I came in here and I pruned quite a bit yesterday. I'm seeing I missed a couple of leaves, but I'll get down in there and prune the yellow and browning leaves. But these are the red currant tomatoes. Still don't have anything yet. Down here is the first bunch that developed, so I'm hoping by the end of this month we start seeing some blushing on those. Here's a white currant tomato. I've never tried that before, so hoping it's as delicious as the red one. This is the yellow cherry tomato. There's actually two of them in this is store-bought. Two of them in the cup that I bought. So it's really prolific. Lots of tomatoes on here. And as you can see, I have some twine. These Shasta daisies were falling down into the walkway, so I just pulled them back a little bit so I could walk and clean up. When I do my weed whacking, they won't be in the way. So that's what that's for. And these tomatoes are doing really well. They look nice and green, very healthy. Unlike these tomatoes over here in what I was calling my rainbow bed, here's where some changes were made. I don't know what happened in this bed, but there was apparently some disease I was not aware of last year. My tomatoes did very well over here, but each plant that I put in here this year has developed disease very quickly, like this. And I've been cutting them off and pruning them very heavily. As you can see, it's, most of the plant has no stems. And that's how all three of these are. So I'm hoping I can fight the disease and get them healthy and keep them healthy. But this is the Dr. Weik's tomato. There's no tomatoes on here. But we've got lots of blooms. This is the green giant, and it's got some beautiful looking tomatoes so far. Looking forward to trying those. It's got lots of blooms. This one is taller than the other one I showed you. I'm not sure why that is. I don't know if this area gets a little bit more sun than the other one, which it's completely shaded over here right now. And yet the other one still has sun, and it is shorter than this one. But anyway, this is another Brandywine Black tomato. Still the shortest of all of them, but it's catching up, and it's got some blooms on it too. I don't know if I can focus. There they go. So this one as well has some diseased leaves. I've been pruning quite a bit to try and get those off, but I took out a few tomatoes back here, and this hole was a beefsteak tomato, Kellogg's breakfast tomato, purple Russian tomato, the black seaman, and over here was the mortgage lifter. Right now I took out the mortgage lifter yesterday, took a few of these out yesterday, and put in the jalapenos that I had sitting in a 4-inch cup. They needed some place to grow. So here is the mortgage lifter. Again, pruned very heavily because of the disease that I saw on there. There are still some diseased leaves back here, but I didn't want to take everything off and just really put this plant in shock, especially since it is growing some tomatoes. And I took it out of where it was growing the tomatoes. I didn't want to put it into too much shock, so probably within the next 3 or 4 days I'll come out and get some more of these diseased leaves off of here. But we've got quite a few tomatoes. So far I can count 4 or 5. So it's doing well. We've got some nice juicy blooms over here. Next to it, I put the beefsteak. Again, pruned very, very heavily. Oh, so these get some evening sun. Alright, I was worried about it because they don't get much sun during the day in this area, but I have to fence off a bigger area, otherwise the deer will just devour my tomatoes. Here are some beefsteak tomatoes growing. And we've got quite a few blooms tucked in here, so it's not looking droopy, so I think it's going to handle the transition pretty well. The purple Russian tomato looks amazing compared to what it looked like before I transplanted it. But anyway, over here, nasturtiums, Velvet Queen sunflower, which this morning was my height. Now it is taller than me. It's amazing how quickly these grow. Got garlic and a volunteer red currant tomato. That's not growing. I already have enough tomatoes. I think I have 22. No more. Flowers and weeds. And here is the purple Russian tomato, looking beautiful. It filled out so much. I was so worried about it looking like a stick. Sorry, there's lots of bugs landing on me right now. Looking like a stick a few weeks ago, and now it has filled out. There's so many branches and leaves, and it's beautiful. Got lots of flowers blooming on here. Sorry for the mound of dirt in the backyard. I'm working on getting that cleaned up next, but lots of flowers developing. Still got this one tomato down here, and there's a few developing right here. So, looking forward to this paste tomato. I believe it can be a slicer as well, but I want to make some sauces this year. More garlic. Here is, who's this? Mortgage lifter. Move this guy out as well. Again, the disease, heavily pruned from the bottom, getting all the diseased leaves off that I could see without putting the plant into stress. Still no tomatoes on here, but lots of blooms. And, you know, I'm expecting it to take a while to acclimate over here before producing something. Again, bone meal down at the bottom. Over here is a Kellogg's breakfast tomato. And you can tell, heavily pruned. Got some tomatoes on there. I think I've got 2 tomatoes on there so far. So that's looking good. And didn't take all the diseased leaves off. Didn't want to put the plant into too much shock, but this is what I'm working with. Over here is the last of what I believe is the black brandywine. I didn't mark it, so that should be a black brandywine. That as well has taken off. I think I took it out about a week ago, or a little over a week ago, and it's doing so well in its new location. Here is another Velvet Queen sunflower, and the honeydew green flesh in there. Again, the dusty stuff on it is the phosphorus, the bone meal that I sprinkled. It's supposed to rain tonight, so it'll be washed off and into the soil. This is my corn, which if we go by knee-high by July, it is well on its way. It's about up to my hip, but I'm only 5'3", so that's not a stretch for corn. Once again, bone meal on there. There is some powdery mildew as well on some of these leaves. I've got to cut them off. But these are, well, that one looks really bad. And I tried the milk spray, but it's not doing anything. These are the angel hair as well as the regular spaghetti squash. I've got 3 growing so far. This one, nice big one, you can see. Oh, bugs. Another one, and there's a 3rd one around here somewhere. Can't tell where it is. Oh, right here. Okay, so that's what's going on over here. Tomatoes again. And we'll come to the beans, which have finally reached the top of my little homemade trellis and are apparently being eaten up by something. Just noticed those holes up here. I'm not sure what does that. I don't see anything on the leaves, but I digress. I'll be out here and I'm looking for something. Finally got some flowers on the pole beans. I think these are Old Homestead beans. I also put Scarlet Runner beans in here as well as Blue Lake pole beans, but I don't think the Blue Lakes germinated, so I was impatient, and so I just kept putting in more and more seeds. So that's what that is. Nice little bumblebee. He left. And then down here, my cowpeas are finally, oh my gosh, I've got a bean. It came out yesterday and it was a white flower, came out today and it turned that color, and now it just fell off and there's a little bean. That would be my first black-eyed peas that I've ever grown. Alright, so wrapping this up, we've got the mint over here. Still got some petunias down in there holding on. They look good. It's getting hot now, so maybe that shade will help. This is the last of the Kellogg's Breakfast tomatoes, so this makes number 3. And I put it over here, and it is like really filling out nicely, very nicely. It's beautiful, and have some flowers forming on there and over here. So this is my favorite tomato. I don't really have favorite tomatoes because I didn't really think I liked them, but Kellogg's Breakfast has changed my mind. Here's some poppies and salvia, some more garlic finally flopping over. I don't remember the variety of this garlic. Here is spaghetti squash that went trailing through there. There's a little baby squash right there. Hopefully it was pollinated. And another view of the honeydew, green flesh, and the sunflower. This one isn't quite as tall as the other one. And there's Danny. Hey, Danny. There he is. All right, so that is this garden tour finished. This is my garden. I'm looking look forward to the next few weeks getting some harvest. See you next week.